For millennia, humanity has gazed upon the stars, contemplating our origins and our place in the cosmic tapestry. We have built towering monuments to unseen forces, etched elaborate stories into stone, and whispered tales of beings who descended from the heavens. These narratives, woven into the very fabric of our earliest civilizations, speak of gods who walked among us, imparting knowledge, establishing laws, and even creating life itself. But what if these weren't merely mythological constructs, allegories crafted by nascent minds struggling to comprehend the unknown? What if these ancient texts, these magnificent structures, these sudden leaps in human capability point to a more literal truth? What if the entities our ancestors worshipped as divine were, in fact, something else entirely? Across disparate cultures, separated by vast oceans and centuries, echoes of a singular, profound mystery persist. From the fertile crescent of Mesopotamia to the arid plateaus of the Andes, from the dense jungles of Mesoamerica to the sun-baked lands of ancient Egypt, a consistent narrative emerges. Advanced beings, possessed of unimaginable power and knowledge, arrived on Earth, shaping human destiny. Who were these architects of civilization, these teachers of agriculture, astronomy, and metallurgy? Were they truly divine, omnipotent beings from a spiritual realm? Or does their enigmatic legacy hint at an origin far more concrete, far more tangible, perhaps even extraterrestrial? This profound question lies at the heart of our deepest human enigmas, challenging conventional historical narratives and pushing the boundaries of what we believe to be possible. Our journey begins in the land often hailed as the cradle of civilization, ancient Sumer. Here, between the mighty Tigris and Euphrates rivers, a sophisticated culture blossomed seemingly overnight, defying all known models of gradual societal development. Suddenly, without precursor, cities arose with intricate urban planning, monumental architecture in the form of towering ziggurats, complex legal systems, sophisticated irrigation techniques, and the revolutionary invention of writing itself, cuneiform, etched onto countless clay tablets. The Sumerians possessed advanced knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, and metallurgy, far beyond what their primitive tools and perceived technological level should have allowed. How did such an advanced civilization materialize with such suddenness and complexity in the dusty plains of Mesopotamia, almost fully formed, complete with an elaborate cosmology and pantheon of powerful beings? The answers, they claimed, came from above. Their extensive written records, painstakingly deciphered over the past 2 centuries, speak not of evolving from simpler societies, but of a direct intervention. These tablets, numbering in the hundreds of thousands, recount a detailed history of a species they called the Anunnaki, a term often translated as those who from heaven to earth came. These were not abstract deities, but powerful corporeal beings who lived long lives, possessed advanced technology, and interacted directly with humanity. They were depicted with human-like forms, but often with wings, or carrying unusual instruments, sometimes even standing within what appeared to be winged discs or aerial craft. Were these simply symbolic representations, or were they literal descriptions of visitors from another world, whose advanced technology was interpreted as divine power by a less developed civilization? Central to the Sumerian narrative is the god Enlil, often described as the commander of the Anunnaki, a powerful figure who dictated decrees and wielded immense authority, his very presence causing the earth to tremble. He was a god of wind, air, earth, and storms, responsible for bestowing kingship and controlling the fate of cities. Yet, beneath the grandiosity of divine power, we find accounts that speak of a very real, almost political structure amongst the Anunnaki. Enlil, for example, often held a conflicted relationship with his half-brother, Enki, the god of wisdom, water, and creation. These weren't ethereal beings floating in some distant heaven. They had disagreements, rivalries, and specific agendas that directly impacted early humanity. The tablets portray a hierarchy, a command structure, and even specific projects undertaken on Earth rather than a purely spiritual interaction. Enki, a pivotal figure in Sumerian cosmology, is frequently depicted as the benevolent creator and benefactor of humanity. The texts describe his involvement in genetically manipulating early hominids to create the first modern humans, intended to serve the Anunnaki in their laborious tasks. This account, often referred to as the Adamu myth, details a process remarkably similar to genetic engineering, using the blood of a god mixed with clay to fashion a new being. This isn't a story of spontaneous creation or divine breath. It's a specific, almost scientific procedure. Such concepts seem anachronistic, far too advanced for a civilization existing millennia before the advent of modern biology. Could these ancient narratives, rather than being mere metaphors for creation, be echoes of a sophisticated bioengineering project, misunderstood and mythologized over vast stretches of time? The purpose of this creation, according to the Sumerian texts, was explicit. Humanity was designed to toil in the Anunnaki's mines, specifically for a precious metal, often speculated to be gold. This resource was seemingly vital for the Anunnaki's own planetary needs, perhaps to repair their atmosphere or for their advanced technologies. The idea that a higher species would manipulate another for resource extraction is a recurring theme in modern speculative fiction, yet here it stands, etched in stone by the earliest known civilization. This raises unsettling questions. If these beings sought a specific resource on Earth, does that not imply a technological, rather than purely spiritual, need? And if humanity was created for labor, what does that say about our true origins and the nature of our creators? The Anunnaki are consistently portrayed as possessing capabilities far beyond human comprehension. They flew in skyboats or fiery chariots, communicated over vast distances, and wielded weapons that could decimate cities. The Epic of Gilgamesh, a cornerstone of Sumerian literature, speaks of journeys to distant lands, interactions with powerful beings, and the search for immortality, often guided or hindered by these very Anunnaki. The descriptions of their craft and their weapons do not sound like the thunderbolts or divine fire of typical mythological gods. They sound remarkably like advanced technology. Are we to dismiss these detailed descriptions as mere flights of poetic fancy, or should we consider the possibility that these ancient scribes were attempting to describe phenomena and technology for which they had no contemporary frame of reference, rendering them as divine? Consider the Great Flood narratives, which appear not only in Sumerian texts like the Epic of Atrahasis, but also later in the Babylonian Epic of Gilgamesh and, famously, in the Hebrew Bible. The Sumerian accounts describe a global catastrophe instigated by the Anunnaki Council, particularly Enlil, who grew weary of humanity's noise and proliferation. Yet, Enki, sympathetic to humanity, secretly warns one man, Utnapishtim, or Ziusudra, to build an ark and save himself and all species. This isn't an act of a capricious god. It's a calculated decision, a potential attempt to reset or control an experiment that went awry. The striking parallels between these ancient flood narratives suggest a shared memory of a cataclysmic event, possibly witnessed and recorded by different cultures, each interpreting the actions of the gods through their own lens. The Sumerian king list, another remarkable document, enumerates rulers who reigned for impossibly long durations, tens of thousands of years, before the Great Flood. After the flood, the lifespans of kings drastically reduce, gradually becoming more consistent with human lifespans. This stark contrast suggests two distinct periods, one where the Anunnaki or their direct descendants ruled with immense longevity, and another where human kings took over, perhaps under the guidance or influence of the surviving Anunnaki. Could these extraordinary lifespans be attributed to a different biology or even advanced medical technology possessed by beings who were not native to Earth, whose concept of time and aging differed profoundly from our own? The legacy of Sumer extends far beyond its written records. The architectural achievements, particularly the ziggurats, are monumental. These massive stepped platforms serving as temples were not merely places of worship, but were often described as stairways to heaven, places where gods could descend and ascend, Their precise construction, the astronomical alignments woven into their design, and the sheer labor involved in their creation all speak to an advanced understanding of engineering and organization. Was this knowledge developed purely by early humans, or was it imparted, perhaps even supervised, by beings with a superior grasp of physics and structural integrity? The official archaeological explanation often struggles to fully account for the sudden sophistication without external influence. Leaving the dusty plains of Mesopotamia, our investigation turns westward to the enigmatic sands of ancient Egypt, a civilization whose monumental achievements continue to astound and baffle. For thousands of years, the land of the pharaohs rose to prominence with an unprecedented understanding of astronomy, medicine, mathematics, and monumental construction. Like Sumer, the origins of this advanced culture appear remarkably sudden, with little evidence of the gradual developmental stages expected from an emerging society. Their gods, too, shared striking similarities with their Mesopotamian counterparts, powerful beings associated with the sky, often depicted with animal heads but human bodies, or possessing other unusual features, holding staffs and symbols of authority. The most iconic testament to ancient Egyptian ingenuity, and indeed one of the greatest mysteries of the world, are the Great Pyramids of Giza. These colossal structures, built with unfathomable precision from millions of tons of stone, represent an engineering feat that even modern technology would struggle to replicate. The exact methods of their construction remain hotly debated, with theories ranging from ramps and levers to water-based lifting systems. Yet, none fully explain the sheer scale, the astronomical accuracy, the tight tolerances between massive blocks, some weighing many tons, that fit together with razor-thin precision. How did a civilization supposedly limited to copper tools and rudimentary understanding of mechanics achieve such monumental perfection, aligning structures with cardinal points and celestial bodies with staggering accuracy? The internal chambers of the Great Pyramid of Giza, particularly the King's Chamber and Queen's Chamber, exhibit an astonishing level of craftsmanship. The granite sarcophagus in the King's Chamber, for instance, is carved from a single block of solid red granite, a stone so hard it would challenge modern diamond-tipped drills. The precision of its internal cuts, the exact angles, and the smooth finish suggest tools and techniques far beyond the capabilities generally attributed to the Bronze Age Egyptians. Were these incredible feats the product of sheer human will and primitive ingenuity alone? Or does their existence point to an advanced understanding of tools and techniques, perhaps even energy sources that have been lost to history, or perhaps never truly belonged to humanity in the first place? The legends of Egypt speak of the Neteru, a pantheon of gods who ruled Egypt in a golden age before the pharaohs. These Neteru, like the Anunnaki, were depicted as powerful beings who lived for extremely long periods, possessed incredible knowledge, and could traverse the skies. They were said to have founded the first dynasties, bringing order, laws, and knowledge to the land. Some texts even refer to them as those who came from the stars. Is it mere coincidence that two of the earliest, most sophisticated civilizations on Earth share remarkably similar narratives of divine or celestial beings descending to establish civilization and impart knowledge? Or is there a deeper, shared truth that has been filtered through different cultural lenses? Beyond the pyramids, other Egyptian artifacts present equally perplexing anomalies. Ancient hieroglyphs depict what appear to be flying machines, submarines, and even bulbous electrical devices resembling light bulbs in the Dendera light. While mainstream archaeology interprets these as symbolic representations or misinterpretations of natural phenomena, their striking resemblance to modern technology sparks relentless questioning. Could these images be a literal record of the technology witnessed by ancient Egyptians, technology belonging to the Neteru, technology that mainstream historians struggle to fit into their established timelines? The very existence of such depictions challenges the notion that ancient peoples were solely reliant on rudimentary tools and understanding. The enigmatic Sphinx, a colossal monument carved from a single piece of bedrock guarding the Giza Plateau, also poses profound questions. Geologists have presented evidence suggesting that the erosion patterns on the Sphinx and its enclosure walls are consistent with water erosion over thousands of years, indicating it could be significantly older than the generally accepted date of 2500 BCE, perhaps predating the dynastic Egyptians themselves. If this older dating is correct, who built it? What ancient, unknown civilization possessed the technology and organizational capacity to carve such a monumental figure from solid rock at a time when humanity was supposedly still struggling with basic survival? The Sphinx, silent and eternal, stares out across the desert, a sentinel of a forgotten epoch and a potential witness to a different history. Moving far across the globe, separated by vast oceans and entirely different cultural trajectories, we encounter another monumental mystery in the high Andes Mountains of South America. Here, atop a bleak, windswept altiplano at an elevation of nearly 13,000 feet, lie the ruins of Tiwanaku and its incredibly complex, perplexing counterpart, Pumapunku. These sites represent a level of stonework and engineering that challenges every preconceived notion of ancient human capabilities. The sheer scale and precision of these ancient structures suggest an advanced civilization with a mastery of stone cutting and construction that remains largely unexplained by conventional archaeology. Pumapunku, in particular, stands as a profound enigma. It is not built with simple stacked blocks, but with interlocking H-shaped stones, some weighing hundreds of tons, cut with such incredible precision that they fit together like pieces of a colossal three-dimensional puzzle without the need for mortar. The surfaces of these blocks exhibit perfectly straight lines, uniform angles, and smooth, polished finishes, as if they were produced by advanced machinery rather than primitive hand tools. Some of the cuts are so intricate, so geometrical, so sharp, that they appear almost machine-tooled, featuring perfect right angles and precise, identical grooves that would be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to achieve with copper or bronze implements. The stone itself, often volcanic andesite and diorite, is incredibly hard, second only to diamond on the Mohs scale of mineral hardness. How did an ancient people, without the wheel, without iron tools, and without a written language that we have found, quarry, transport, and meticulously cut and shape these massive, exceptionally hard stones with such extraordinary precision? The nearest quarry for some of these stones is miles away, across challenging terrain. The conventional explanation struggles to bridge the vast gap between the supposed technological capabilities of the Tiwanaku culture and the undeniable evidence of advanced engineering left behind in the ruins of Pumapunku. Could this unparalleled level of precision, this mastery over unyielding stone, be a legacy of those who came from the heavens, leaving their architectural signature on a distant continent? The purpose of Pumapunku is equally shrouded in mystery. It appears to have been a monumental ceremonial complex, perhaps a docking station or a highly specialized facility of some kind, designed for a purpose that escapes our modern understanding. The ruins suggest a sudden, catastrophic destruction, perhaps by an earthquake or a cataclysmic flood, scattering its precisely cut blocks like giant building toys. This sudden collapse, combined with the inexplicable level of engineering, further fuels speculation that an external, highly advanced influence was at play, an influence that either guided the construction or was directly responsible for it. Further south in Peru, the famous Nazca lines stretch across vast, arid plains. These immense geoglyphs etched into the desert floor depict animals, geometric shapes, and abstract designs, some spanning hundreds of feet. Their most striking feature is that they can only be fully appreciated from an aerial perspective. From the ground, they appear as little more than shallow ditches and random lines. Who created these colossal artworks, and for whom were they intended? If they could only be seen from the sky, does this imply a connection to beings who possessed the ability of flight? Were they signals, markers, or perhaps a message directed upwards to the very sky from which the Anunnaki and other ancient gods were said to have descended? The meticulous design and execution of the Nazca lines suggest a profound understanding of geometry and a sophisticated system of planning and measurement. Creating such precise figures on such a grand scale, ensuring their proper proportions and perspective from an aerial viewpoint, would require advanced surveying techniques that are not typically attributed to ancient Andean cultures. The mainstream explanation posits that they were created for religious ceremonies or astronomical observations viewed from nearby hills. Yet, the sheer scale and the aerial necessity of their appreciation remain a lingering question mark, consistently drawing a connection to the possibility of airborne observers. The vastness of the Nazca Plateau, adorned with these enigmatic figures, compels one to wonder about the nature of the relationship between ancient humanity and the beings they revered. Were these figures prayers etched onto the landscape, pleas for the return of their sky-faring creators? Or were they perhaps territorial markers, instructions, or even a form of communication between ancient peoples and those whom they saw as divine architects whose presence was a guiding force in their burgeoning civilizations? The very existence of such a colossal endeavor, visible only from above, strengthens the narrative of celestial intervention, of beings who could soar through the air and observe humanity's efforts from a vantage point far beyond the reach of early man. Returning to the Old World in the prehistoric plains of Anatolia, we find Göbekli Tepe, a site that has fundamentally rewritten our understanding of early human history. Discovered in the 1990s, this massive megalithic complex predates Stonehenge by some 6,000 years and the invention of agriculture by at least a millennium. It consists of numerous circular enclosures, each featuring massive T-shaped pillars, some weighing up to 60 tons, intricately carved with reliefs of animals, symbols, and abstract figures. This sophisticated temple complex was built by hunter-gatherers, a fact that completely upends the conventional archaeological narrative that complex societies and monumental architecture only arose after the development of agriculture and settled communities. Göbekli Tepe suggests that monumental construction and organized religion actually preceded agriculture, perhaps even serving as a catalyst for it. How did nomadic hunter-gatherers manage the organization, labor, and engineering required to quarry, transport, and erect such colossal pillars? The sheer logistical challenge involved in its construction is staggering. Who taught these early humans to plan and execute such a grand project? Were these people, supposedly living in a relatively primitive state, suddenly imbued with advanced knowledge, perhaps by the very beings who are the subject of our inquiry? The existence of Göbekli Tepe forces us to reconsider the timeline of human development and the potential for external influence at a remarkably early stage. The carvings at Göbekli Tepe are also intriguing. They depict a rich array of animals, some of which are not native to the region, and enigmatic symbols whose meanings remain elusive. There are also abstract figures that some speculate resemble humanoid forms, perhaps even suggesting a narrative or a record of specific events. The site itself was deliberately buried, perhaps to preserve it, perhaps to conceal it, or perhaps as part of a ritualistic abandonment, further shrouding its true purpose and its creators in mystery. The sophisticated artistry, the monumental scale, and the sheer age of Göbekli Tepe demand an explanation that transcends the capabilities of pre-agricultural human societies. It stands as a silent, powerful testament to a forgotten era, a time when human capabilities seemed to leap forward without apparent cause. Across the Mediterranean, on the island of Malta, another series of megalithic temples further complicates the traditional historical narrative. These temples, such as Hagar Kim and Menajdra, are among the oldest freestanding structures on Earth, predating the Egyptian pyramids and Stonehenge by many centuries. Built with massive limestone blocks, some weighing upwards of 20 tons, these intricate structures feature sophisticated architectural elements like corbelled roofs and precise astronomical alignments. The builders of these temples, a seemingly isolated island culture, exhibited an advanced understanding of engineering, astronomy, and organization that is extraordinary for their time. The interior spaces of the Maltese temples are often remarkably complex, with multiple chambers, altars, and intricate carvings. The precision with which these massive blocks were quarried, transported, and positioned, often with curved surfaces fitting together seamlessly, challenges the capabilities attributed to early Neolithic peoples. The sheer effort required, the mathematical understanding implicit in their design, and their enduring presence for thousands of years, all beg the question, how did this isolated island culture achieve such monumental architectural prowess? Was their knowledge self-generated in isolation, or did they, like so many other ancient civilizations, benefit from a guiding hand, an external influence that imparted advanced techniques? The mystery of these ancient sites, from the Fertile Crescent to the Andes, from Egypt to Anatolia and Malta, weaves a consistent pattern. They speak of sudden, unexplained leaps in human capability, of monumental structures built with impossible precision, and of ancient texts describing beings from the sky. The sheer number of these anomalies, across such diverse geographies and temporal periods, makes it increasingly difficult to dismiss them as isolated curiosities or mere mythological coincidences. Instead, they begin to form a compelling narrative, a fragmented yet powerful account of a shared human experience, one deeply intertwined with the presence of advanced, non-human entities. The narrative voice in these ancient accounts is surprisingly consistent. The gods are depicted as having physical forms, living on Earth for extended periods, and directly interacting with human populations. They possess distinct personalities, engage in complex relationships, and exhibit technological prowess that humanity would not achieve for millennia. This portrayal is strikingly different from the abstract, omnipotent, and ethereal deities typically associated with later monotheistic religions. Instead, these are beings who command advanced flying machines, wield powerful weapons, and undertake projects that require immense engineering and organizational skill. Consider the Vimanas, described in ancient Indian Sanskrit texts, particularly in the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. These texts, thousands of years old, recount detailed descriptions of flying palaces and chariots capable of interstellar travel, armed with devastating weaponry. They are piloted by various deities and powerful beings. While these stories are typically categorized as mythology, the vivid and precise descriptions of these aerial craft, their propulsion systems, and their functions are remarkably sophisticated. Could these ancient Indian epics be preserving memories of advanced flying technology witnessed in antiquity, perhaps belonging to beings similar to the Anunnaki who visited and interacted with humanity in different parts of the world? The descriptions of cities besieged by these flying machines, of battles fought with energy weapons that caused catastrophic destruction, echo across different ancient narratives. The concept of divine fire, or celestial weapons, appears in numerous mythologies, often causing widespread devastation, melting stone, and leaving behind vitrified landscapes. While these events are attributed to gods, the nature of the destruction described in these ancient accounts often aligns more closely with the effects of advanced weaponry than with natural disasters or conventional warfare. This raises the unsettling question: were ancient civilizations witnesses to conflicts or technological demonstrations by advanced beings, events that were then woven into their sacred histories as divine acts? The persistent narrative of gods descending from the heavens also carries profound implications for our understanding of human evolution. If the Sumerian accounts of genetic manipulation by Enki are to be taken seriously, even as a metaphorical representation, it suggests an external force guiding or accelerating human development. The sudden appearance of Homo sapiens with advanced cognitive abilities, artistic expression, and complex language compared to our hominid predecessors remains a subject of intense scientific debate. Could there have been an intervention, a carefully orchestrated acceleration of human evolution by beings with superior genetic knowledge, shaping humanity for a specific purpose? This question challenges the very foundation of evolutionary biology and anthropology. If humanity was, in some sense, engineered or significantly influenced by an external intelligent species, then our place in the cosmos, and indeed our very identity, takes on an entirely new dimension. It shifts the narrative from purely natural selection to a scenario that includes guided development, raising ethical and philosophical dilemmas about our Creator's intentions and our true purpose. The Anunnaki narrative, therefore, is not merely an ancient myth. It is a potential key to unlocking profound truths about human origins and our relationship with the universe. The very concept of a golden age preceding recorded history, where gods ruled directly and humanity lived in harmony and prosperity, is another recurring theme in numerous ancient cultures. This age, often described as a period of enlightenment and technological advancement, eventually gives way to a decline, a time when the gods depart or become less directly involved, leaving humanity to govern itself. This pattern is consistent with the idea of a temporary stewardship or guidance by an advanced external species who, having established civilization and imparted foundational knowledge, eventually withdrew, allowing humanity to forge its own path, albeit with the lingering memory of their celestial benefactors. The deliberate suppression or misinterpretation of these ancient texts and archaeological anomalies within mainstream academia is also a part of this unfolding mystery. While conventional explanations often seek to rationalize these phenomena within established paradigms, a growing body of researchers and independent thinkers argues that these explanations often fall short, failing to adequately account for the overwhelming evidence of advanced knowledge and technology in antiquity. Is this reluctance a function of scientific conservatism, a fear of challenging entrenched beliefs, or a more deliberate attempt to maintain a comfortable human-centric narrative of our history? The sheer volume of ancient evidence pointing towards intelligent, non-human intervention in early human history is compelling. From the Anunnaki of Sumer to the Neteru of Egypt, to the sky gods of the Andes, the consistent narrative, the impossible architecture, and the unexplained technological leaps all coalesce into a profound question mark hanging over humanity's past. We are left to ponder. Were these beings merely the poetic imaginings of primitive minds attempting to personify the forces of nature, or were they literal visitors, those who from heaven to earth came, whose advanced presence dramatically altered the course of human civilization, shaping us into who we are today? The answer to this question could fundamentally redefine our understanding of history, religion, and our place in the vast, mysterious cosmos. Across the vastness of the Pacific, high in the desolate Altiplano of Bolivia, lie the enigmatic ruins of Tiahuanaco and Puma Punku, sites that challenge every conventional understanding of ancient engineering and chronology. Here, at an altitude of nearly 13,000 feet, far above any major river or forest, exist the remains of structures built from massive blocks of stone, some weighing over 100 tons, quarried and transported from miles away. The precision of the stonework at Puma Punku, in particular, beggars belief. Intricate H-shaped blocks, enormous, finely cut andesite and diorite stones, are found scattered, some interlocked with incredible accuracy, others bearing what appear to be drill holes and perfectly flat surfaces, achieved with tools unknown to any supposed Stone Age culture. These blocks exhibit complex angles, perfect right angles, and joinery so precise that not even a razor blade can fit between them. They seem to have been cut with the precision of modern laser technology, yet this civilization, by official accounts, possessed only rudimentary tools. Who possessed the knowledge, the technology, to shape such unforgiving materials with such flawless precision in such a remote and challenging environment? The very chronology of Puma Punku is profoundly unsettling. Radiocarbon dating places the initial construction as far back as 1500 BC, yet the advanced techniques observed there would suggest a much later period, one for which no evidence of such sophisticated tools exists. Some researchers examining the astronomical alignments and geological evidence propose an age far greater still, perhaps predating the last ice age, pushing its construction back tens of thousands of years. If true, this would mean a highly advanced civilization existed on Earth at a time when mainstream archaeology insists humanity was still struggling with basic survival, a period of nomadic hunter-gatherers. Were these megalithic masterpieces constructed by an unknown, forgotten human civilization, or do they bear the fingerprints of a different kind of architect altogether, one whose timeline and capabilities far exceeded anything attributed to early man? The massive gates, the interlocking segments, the perfect T-clamps not found in nature, all seem to speak of a design philosophy and execution that stands as an outlier in the human story. Further north, within the heart of the Inca Empire, another monumental enigma persists: Sacsayhuaman. Overlooking the city of Cusco, this fortress temple complex is renowned for its cyclopean masonry, walls constructed from enormous, irregularly shaped boulders, some weighing up to 200 tons. These stones are meticulously cut and fitted together without mortar, so tightly that it is impossible to insert a piece of paper between them. The sheer scale of these stones, their transportation over significant distances, and the precision with which they are interlocked on multiple planes defy conventional explanation. How did the Inca, who did not possess the wheel for transport or iron tools for cutting, manage such an astonishing feat of engineering? The official explanation often involves vast armies of laborers and simple tools, but this explanation struggles to account for the geometric precision, the complex angles, and the sheer effort involved in manipulating stones of such colossal weight and density, especially when considering the lack of visible chisel marks or evidence of the required infrastructure. Was this a testament to an unimaginable manual effort, or does it hint at a lost technology, perhaps even guidance from those who truly understood the forces of gravity and material manipulation? Moving across continents to Mesoamerica, we encounter similar patterns of sudden emergence and inexplicable architectural prowess. The Olmec civilization, considered the mother culture of Mesoamerica, appeared seemingly overnight around 1600 BC in the humid lowlands of what is now Mexico. They possessed advanced urban planning, a complex calendar, and a hieroglyphic writing system, all without clear precursors. But it is their colossal heads, carved from massive basalt boulders weighing up to 40 tons, transported from quarries dozens of miles away, that pose the most profound questions. These distinctive heads, depicting individuals with broad noses, thick lips, and often helmet-like headgear, are unlike anything else in the region. Who were these people depicted with such reverence? And how were these enormous stones quarried, transported, and carved with such artistry by a culture without metal tools or wheeled transport? Their sudden appearance, fully formed with sophisticated cultural traits, mirrors the sudden leap seen in Sumer and Egypt. Then there is Teotihuacan, the city of the gods, a monumental urban center whose origins remain shrouded in mystery. Built long before the Aztecs discovered it and named it, Teotihuacan flourished between 100 BC and 600 AD, boasting colossal pyramids, grand avenues, and sophisticated apartment compounds. The Pyramid of the Sun, one of the largest structures in the ancient world, is precisely aligned to celestial events and contains layers of mica, a mineral not native to the region, deep within its structure. This mica, known for its heat resistance and electrical insulating properties, raises perplexing questions. Why was such a material, sourced from thousands of miles away, integrated into the core of a pyramid? Was its purpose purely symbolic, or did it serve a technological function that we no longer understand? The entire city plan reflects an astonishing understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and urban design, laid out with incredible precision. Yet, like so many other ancient marvels, the true architects and their methods remain largely unknown, swallowed by the sands of time. The Maya, inheritors of much Olmec knowledge, further refined astronomical observation and calendrical systems to an astonishing degree of accuracy, surpassing even those of their European contemporaries. Their cities, with their towering pyramids and intricate carvings, speak of a profound connection to the cosmos. But one particular artifact from Palenque, the sarcophagus lid of Lord Pakal, sparks intense debate. The intricate carving on the lid depicts Pakal in a reclining position, surrounded by cosmic imagery. To many, it appears to show him operating some form of advanced machinery, perhaps a spacecraft, with controls, pedals, and even a flame emanating from the rear. While mainstream archaeology interprets this as a stylized representation of his descent into the underworld, the visual parallels to modern technology are striking and difficult to dismiss for those open to alternative interpretations. Were these mere coincidences of artistic representation, or a literal depiction of a technology and a means of travel far beyond what we attribute to ancient civilizations? And then, etched into the arid plains of Peru, lie the Nazca lines, colossal geoglyphs depicting animals, geometric shapes, and abstract designs, some stretching for miles. These figures are so immense that they can only be fully appreciated from an aerial perspective. Who created these magnificent earthworks? And more importantly, for whom were they intended? The Nazca culture did not possess the ability of sustained flight. Was the purpose of these enormous ground markings a message to the heavens, perhaps a beacon or a landing strip for visitors who did possess the power of flight? The precision of their execution, maintaining perfectly straight lines over vast distances and intricate curves without the ability to survey from above, remains an unsolved puzzle. It requires a level of planning and execution that pushes the boundaries of what we understand about ancient human capabilities, once again raising the specter of external observation or even direct guidance. Beyond the Americas, the ancient Indus Valley civilization, specifically the cities of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, presents yet another compelling case for unexplained advancements. Flourishing around 2500 BC, these cities boasted an astonishing level of urban planning, with grid-patterned streets, sophisticated drainage and sewage systems far superior to anything seen elsewhere for millennia, and advanced hydraulic engineering. Their public baths, granaries, and standardized brick sizes indicate a highly organized, centralized society with an advanced understanding of hygiene and urban logistics. Yet, like the Olmecs, this civilization seemed to appear fully formed, with no clear evolutionary stages from simpler settlements. Their writing system, found on numerous seals, remains undeciphered, a lost language that might hold crucial clues to their origins and knowledge. Who taught them such? Advanced urban planning, anticipating issues like waste management and public health that wouldn't be adequately addressed in many parts of the world until the modern era? The abrupt and mysterious decline of the Indus Valley civilization around 1900 BC also fuels speculation. While environmental changes or shifts in trade routes are often cited, certain theories point to more cataclysmic events. Evidence of intense heat, some areas appearing vitrified, along with scattered skeletons suggesting sudden violent ends, have led some to hypothesize about advanced weaponry or atmospheric events described in ancient texts. Were these cities victims of natural disaster or of something far more unsettling, perhaps a conflict involving technologies we can barely comprehend, echoes of which might be found in other ancient narratives of sky battles and divine retribution? The very sophistication of their cities, built to such enduring standards, only deepens the mystery of their sudden and devastating end. From the sun-baked plains of the Indus to the mysterious lands of ancient China, the thread of celestial influence continues. Chinese mythology is replete with tales of dragon kings, celestial emperors, and sky people who descended from the heavens, bringing knowledge of agriculture, medicine, and governance. Emperor Huangdi, the Yellow Emperor, often considered the ancestor of all Han Chinese, is described as possessing magical chariots, a dragon-driven flying machine, and mirrors that could see across vast distances. Were these merely fanciful embellishments of powerful rulers, or did they retain the memory of actual encounters with technologically advanced beings? The legends speak not just of wisdom imparted, but of physical artifacts and powers that defy earthly explanation. The discovery of the Sanxingdui archaeological site in Sichuan province, China, in the late 20th century, presented a profound challenge to established views of ancient Chinese history. Two sacrificial pits unearthed in 1986 revealed thousands of artifacts, unlike anything previously found in Chinese archaeology. Among them were colossal bronze masks and statues featuring striking, exaggerated facial features, almond-shaped eyes, pointed ears, and large, prominent noses that bear little resemblance to traditional Chinese depictions. Some of these figures are over 8 feet tall, slender, and stand on plinths. One massive bronze tree, nearly 13 feet high, with intricate mythical creatures and fruits, further complicates the narrative. Who were the artists creating these unique, almost alien-looking effigies? And what was their connection to these unusual beings depicted with such reverence? The Sansingdui culture, like so many others, seems to emerge with an unexplained sophistication and then mysteriously vanish, leaving behind only these enigmatic clues. These recurring patterns, the sudden appearance of advanced civilizations, the inexplicable engineering feats, the consistent tales of sky gods, and the presence of out-of-place artifacts demand a more comprehensive explanation than conventional archaeology often provides. Consider the Antikythera mechanism, discovered in a shipwreck off the coast of Greece. This sophisticated device, dating back to the 1st century BC, is an astronomical calculator of astounding complexity, capable of predicting eclipses and planetary positions with incredible accuracy. Its intricate gear trains and differential gearing were unparalleled for over a millennium, a technology lost and not rediscovered until the European Renaissance. How could such a device, a true ancient computer, have been conceived and constructed with the limited tools and theoretical knowledge attributed to the Greeks of that era? Was it an isolated stroke of genius, or a fragment of a greater forgotten technological heritage, perhaps imparted by external influence? Then there is the Baghdad battery, a series of terracotta pots containing copper cylinders and iron rods sealed with asphalt. Discovered in Iraq in 1936 and dating back to the Parthian era, around 250 BC to 250 AD, experiments have shown these devices could have generated a small electrical current. If indeed they were used as batteries for electroplating or other unknown purposes, it would imply an understanding of electricity thousands of years before its official discovery. Why would such a revolutionary technology appear, then seemingly vanish without leaving a clearer historical footprint? It stands as an archaeological anomaly, a silent question mark in the timeline of human invention, hinting at a lost chapter of scientific inquiry. And in the ancient temples of Egypt, specifically the Temple of Hathor at Dendera, a striking relief depicts what appears to be a giant light bulb. Within a large, elongated, bulb-like enclosure, a serpent extends, often interpreted as the filament, leading to a lotus flower from which the serpent emerges, and supported by a jed pillar, an ancient Egyptian symbol for stability, often associated with electrical or energetic power. Below this, figures seem to be working with the device, and a conduit appears to lead to a box. While Egyptologists attribute this to religious symbolism, the resemblance to a Crookes tube or a light-generating device is undeniable for those who view it through a technological lens. Could the ancient Egyptians have possessed knowledge of electricity and illumination, perhaps given to them by their Neteru, their gods, who descended from the sky? The lack of soot marks in many Egyptian tombs further supports the idea that they were not relying solely on fire-based lighting. These are not isolated incidents, but rather a constellation of anomalies that challenge the very foundations of our understanding of history and human progress. The sheer volume of evidence, spanning continents and millennia, paints a consistent picture of advanced knowledge, technology, and cultural complexity appearing suddenly, often without clear developmental precursors and often attributed to gods or sky people. The official narrative of linear human evolution, a slow and steady climb from primitive beginnings, struggles to accommodate these profound discrepancies. It often dismisses them as elaborate myths, coincidences, or the product of incredibly laborious but ultimately simple methods. But does this explanation truly satisfy the profound questions raised by perfectly fitted cyclopean masonry, precise astronomical alignments, sophisticated urban planning, and intricate devices that appear centuries, if not millennia, ahead of their time? Perhaps the greatest mystery lies within ourselves, in the very fabric of human existence. The sudden cognitive leap that separates Homo sapiens from earlier hominids, often referred to as the Great Leap Forward, remains largely unexplained, While archaeological evidence suggests a gradual development of tool-making and social structures, the emergence of complex language, abstract thought, art, and religion appears remarkably swift, almost like a sudden infusion of new capabilities. Could this leap, this awakening of consciousness, have been influenced by external factors? If, as some ancient texts suggest, the gods played a role in the creation or modification of humanity, could this explain the missing links in our evolutionary chain, or the presence of non-coding junk DNA that might hold latent capabilities or genetic markers of an ancestral past not entirely terrestrial? The Sumerian tablets, those foundational texts of civilization, speak not only of the Anunnaki arriving on Earth, but of their direct involvement in creating and genetically manipulating early hominids to serve as a labor force. They describe a process where the Anunnaki mingled their essence with that of the primitive workers, imparting intelligence and consciousness. While these narratives are officially categorized as myth, the consistency with which they describe such an intricate process, including specific details of genetic hybridization in an age when such concepts were supposedly beyond human comprehension, is remarkable. If we are truly a product of natural selection alone, why do so many ancient cultures possess such a detailed, consistent, and complex narrative of divine intervention in our genesis? The implications of such a truth are staggering. If humanity's intellectual and technological ascent was not purely an endogenous process, but was catalyzed or guided by an advanced external species, then our entire perception of history, religion, and even our potential future must be reevaluated. It would mean that the gods of antiquity were not merely metaphorical representations of nature's forces, nor figments of primitive imagination, but rather literal beings, perhaps extraterrestrial architects, who seeded civilization and perhaps even modified our very biology. Their purpose, their methods, and their eventual departure or continued presence on Earth remain the ultimate enigma. The deliberate exclusion or downplaying of these anomalies by mainstream academia, while understandable from a conservative scientific viewpoint, also fosters a sense of intellectual stagnation. A reluctance to openly examine evidence that challenges established paradigms, even when that evidence is profound and widespread, risks obscuring a more complete and perhaps more astonishing truth about our origins. Is the comfort of the known history, the human-centric narrative of self-creation, more appealing than the unsettling possibility of external influence, of a heritage that extends beyond our terrestrial confines? The cumulative weight of these global mysteries, the impossible architecture of the Andes, the sudden brilliance of the Olmec, the enigmatic engineering of the Indus, the celestial narratives of China, the out-of-place artifacts that defy their timelines, and the profound questions surrounding human evolution itself, all point towards a common thread. This thread weaves through ancient cultures, connecting their seemingly disparate mythologies and monumental achievements into a coherent, albeit speculative, alternative history. It forces us to confront the possibility that the Anunnaki of Sumer, the Neteru of Egypt, the sky gods of the Andes, and countless other celestial benefactors described in ancient lore were not just symbols of human aspirations, but actual sentient beings. They were those who from heaven to earth came, possessing a knowledge and technology far beyond anything we attribute to their human contemporaries. Their arrival marked a turning point in human history, catalyzing our transition from primitive existence to complex civilization, providing us with the fundamental building blocks of knowledge and perhaps even shaping our very essence. The ancient world, far from being a collection of isolated primitive cultures, might have been a crucible of experimentation, a grand project overseen by an intelligence whose motives and ultimate destination remain to be fully uncovered. The questions linger, echoing through the ages, demanding an answer that could forever change our understanding of who we are, where we come from, and our true place in the cosmic order. The very fabric of our biological existence, the sudden and unexplained leap in cognitive ability that propelled Homo sapiens into dominance, itself becomes a cornerstone of this alternative narrative. Mainstream anthropology grapples with the missing link, the abrupt appearance of modern human intelligence and complexity without clear evolutionary precursors. We speak of a great leap forward, a cognitive revolution, yet its genesis remains veiled in scientific uncertainty. What if this leap wasn't merely a natural gradual progression, but an intervention, a deliberate act of genetic manipulation? The ancient Sumerian texts, our earliest written records, describe a time when humanity was crafted not solely through divine will, but through a more tangible, even scientific process. They speak of the Anunnaki, specifically the deities Enki and Ninhursag, experimenting with early hominids, mixing their own essence with that of primitive beings to create Lulu, the primitive worker, or composite man. This isn't a poetic metaphor for evolution. It is presented as a detailed account of biological engineering. The purpose was clear: to create a workforce, to mine the Earth's abundant resources, particularly gold, for reasons that remain debated, but which ancient texts often link to the Anunnaki's need to repair their home planet's atmosphere. If one accepts the premise of advanced extraterrestrial visitors, then the idea of genetic engineering is not far-fetched. It would explain the peculiar trajectory of human evolution, the sudden cognitive explosion, the acquisition of language, abstract thought, and tool-making capabilities that seem to emerge almost fully formed. It offers a solution to the paleontological puzzle, suggesting that the missing link is not merely undiscovered, but perhaps a deliberate creation, a hybrid engineered for a specific purpose. Consider the profound implications. If humanity's lineage traces back to such an intervention, then our entire understanding of self, of free will, and of our place in the natural order is fundamentally altered. Are we truly products of blind chance or the carefully cultivated outcome of an alien agenda? The ancient world's fascination with divine bloodlines, with rulers claiming direct descent from gods, takes on a new, unsettling resonance. Were these claims not merely political propaganda, but a memory, perhaps distorted, of actual genetic inheritance from these celestial architects? The very concept of divine right might stem from a primal recognition of a hierarchical relationship where the creators held ultimate authority over their creations. The technology these beings possessed, if the ancient accounts are to be taken literally, extends far beyond mere genetic manipulation. The monumental structures left across the globe, as we've explored, hint at mastery over matter and energy that defies our current capabilities. How did they achieve such feats? Was it through advanced sonic levitation, anti-gravity devices, or perhaps a deep understanding of molecular bonds that allowed for the effortless shaping of stone? The stories of skyboats and fire chariots traversing the heavens, of devastating weapons that could level cities, are more than mere imaginative tales. They are consistent across cultures, hinting at a shared memory of a technologically superior presence. These ancient narratives often describe the Anunnaki not just as physical beings, but as possessing lifespans far exceeding our own, living for thousands of years, capable of healing wounds instantly, and even resurrecting the dead. Were these attributes divine miracles or the manifestations of advanced biological and medical science, perhaps even cybernetic enhancements or a different genetic structure entirely? The distinction between gods and extraterrestrials becomes increasingly blurred when viewed through this lens. A civilization that could master interstellar travel, manipulate genetics, and wield unimaginable energy would appear nothing short of divine to a nascent, technologically primitive humanity. Yet, their motives remain the deepest enigma. If they created us, if they uplifted us, why did they ultimately retreat or conceal themselves? Was their mission accomplished? Did a catastrophe on their home world demand their full attention? Or did humanity, in its burgeoning numbers and growing independence, simply outgrow its purpose as a labor force? The texts speak of conflicts among the Anunnaki themselves, of jealousies and power struggles which impacted their interactions with humanity. Perhaps their withdrawal was not a unified decision, but the outcome of internal strife, leaving humanity to navigate its own destiny, albeit with the foundational knowledge they had imparted. The idea that ancient gods were actually extraterrestrial visitors doesn't just reframe our past, it fundamentally challenges our future. If they came once, could they return? Are the persistent reports of unidentified aerial phenomena in our skies, the unexplained encounters in elusive craft, echoes of a continuing presence, a silent observation of their ancient experiment? The very notion that humanity might be a manufactured species rather than a purely natural evolution introduces a profound existential question. Do we have inherent rights and purpose, or are we merely a legacy of an ancient cosmic intervention, our destiny perhaps still intertwined with theirs? This radical reinterpretation of history demands an intellectual honesty, a willingness to look beyond conventional paradigms and consider the impossible. It asks us to re-examine every ancient myth, every religious text, every archaeological anomaly not as mere symbolism or human error, but as potential fragments of a vast forgotten truth. The Sumerian tablets, in particular, with their detailed genealogies, political intrigues, and technological descriptions of the Anunnaki, serve as a foundational document for this speculative history. They are not vague allegories, but appear to be meticulously recorded historical accounts from the perspective of a people who lived alongside these beings. These narratives describe a pantheon of beings who were not ethereal spirits, but physical entities with specific roles, emotions, and even flaws. They ate, they drank, they fought, they made decisions that shaped human civilization. Enlil, the commander; Enki, the scientist and benefactor; Nin-Hersag, the chief medical officer. Their names and functions are consistent, their stories intertwined with the earliest human cities and kingdoms. From the establishment of agriculture to the codification of laws, from the development of writing to the understanding of astronomy, the gifts attributed to these beings align perfectly with the sudden explosion of civilization in Mesopotamia. But the question persists: why us? Why Earth? If their motives were primarily resource acquisition, then humanity's role as a labor force makes utilitarian sense. Yet, the imparting of knowledge, the cultivation of art and culture, suggests a deeper engagement, perhaps even a paternalistic sentiment or a long-term project whose full scope remains hidden from us. Was it a form of planetary terraforming, an initial phase in a larger colonial endeavor? The concept of seeding life, or accelerating its development, is a staple of science fiction, but what if it holds a kernel of historical truth? The sheer global consistency of these narratives, the presence of identical architectural characteristics across continents, and the shared mythological motifs of sky gods descending to bring civilization cannot be easily dismissed as mere coincidence or independent invention. The human mind, across cultures, does not simply conjure identical, highly specific narratives and build structures that defy contemporary capabilities, unless there is a common source of inspiration, a shared experience, or a singular influence that propagated these ideas and technologies across the ancient world. The official historical narrative, while providing a coherent timeline of human development, struggles to explain these abrupt discontinuities, these moments of inexplicable advancement. It attributes them to genius, to spontaneous innovation, to unknown forces of cultural exchange. But does genius alone explain the precision of Pumapunku, the scale of the Giza pyramids, or the instantaneous appearance of the Olmec civilization with its advanced systems? Does it account for the detailed ancient descriptions of beings traveling in flying craft, wielding powerful weapons and manipulating life itself? The alternative perspective, while radical, offers a more elegant and comprehensive explanation for these profound historical enigmas. It suggests that our history is richer, stranger, and far more complex than we currently acknowledge. It posits that the cradle of human civilization was not solely an indigenous development, but a collaborative project, perhaps even an experimental one, between an emerging human species and an older, vastly more advanced intelligence. This intelligence, capable of interstellar travel and genetic manipulation, likely viewed Earth and its inhabitants from a perspective we can barely begin to comprehend. The implications extend beyond mere historical curiosity. If the Anunnaki, or similar entities, indeed orchestrated pivotal moments in our past, then their return or their continued unseen influence becomes a chilling possibility. The persistent human yearning for connection with something greater, the innate spiritual drive that permeates all cultures, could be a subconscious memory, an echo of a time when the gods walked among us, visible and tangible. Our collective unconscious might hold the key to unlocking these suppressed memories, to understanding our true origins, and the ultimate destiny that might still be tethered to those who once descended from the stars. To truly understand our future, we must first confront the obscured truths of our past. The questions posed by the Anunnaki narrative are not merely academic, they are deeply personal, touching upon the very essence of human identity. Were we created in the image of gods, or were those gods merely advanced beings from another world, whose legacy defines us still? The answer to this profound mystery, if ever fully revealed, would not only rewrite history books, but redefine humanity's place in the vast, silent cosmos. It would force us to look at the night sky not just with wonder, but with a new, perhaps unsettling, sense of recognition. The journey into our ancient past, through the lens of these extraordinary possibilities, is an ongoing quest for truth, a challenging of established dogma, and an open invitation to embrace a universe far more mysterious and interconnected than we have ever dared to imagine. It is a journey that promises not just knowledge, but a complete transformation of perspective, illuminating the shadows of antiquity with the light of a cosmic dawn. The lingering sense of an incomplete story, of pieces missing from the grand puzzle of human history, is palpable. We are drawn to these ancient sites, to these cryptic texts, not merely by academic curiosity, but by an intuitive recognition that something profound remains untold. The Anunnaki, whether literal entities or a complex cultural memory of such, represent the ultimate challenge to our anthropocentric view of the universe. They compel us to ask, what if the pinnacle of ancient human achievement was not solely our own, but a magnificent collaboration guided by hands unseen today, yet once worshipped as divine? This question, once entertained, opens floodgates of inquiry, dissolving the rigid boundaries between myth and history, science and spirituality, forcing us to reevaluate every assumption about our origins. The weight of evidence, spanning continents and millennia, points not to isolated instances of advanced ingenuity, but to a consistent pattern of sudden, unexplained breakthroughs coinciding with narratives of celestial intervention. From the very earliest agricultural practices to the sophisticated astronomical observatories, from the advent of metallurgy to the complex societal structures that define early civilizations, the threads of external influence appear woven into the tapestry of human progress. This is not to diminish human ingenuity, but to contextualize it within a grander, potentially cosmic framework. Our ancestors, far from being primitive savages, were the inheritors of an extraordinary legacy, beneficiaries of a profound knowledge transfer, or perhaps even the direct descendants of a monumental experiment. The implications for modern science, particularly genetics and astrophysics, are staggering. If human DNA contains traces of engineered origins, then the search for our true biological ancestors could lead off-world. If the universe is teeming with intelligent life, and some of it has visited Earth in our distant past, then the Fermi paradox, the apparent contradiction between the high probability of extraterrestrial life and the lack of observational evidence, might find an unexpected resolution. Perhaps they have been here and left their mark, not in radio signals, but in the very foundations of our civilization. The silence of the cosmos, then, might not be a sign of absence, but a testament to a presence that was once so profound, so awe-inspiring, that it became embedded in our earliest myths, only to be dismissed as fiction by later, more enlightened generations. This reevaluation calls for a humility in our scientific endeavors, an openness to possibilities that transcend our current understanding. It asks us to consider that the answers to humanity's deepest questions might lie not in future discoveries, but in the careful deciphering of forgotten truths preserved in stone and clay, in oral traditions and sacred texts. The Anunnaki, as archetypes or as historical figures, represent this profound challenge to our collective amnesia, beckoning us to remember a past that is far more extraordinary than we have been taught. The journey continues, not to prove a single theory, but to keep the questions alive, to encourage the exploration of all avenues, and to ultimately seek a truth that might reside at the intersection of science and myth, of Earth and the distant stars. The universe, it seems, has a story for us yet untold, and perhaps we are just beginning to hear its ancient whispers.